from the early stage that you can actually control on your baby and give him the correct education and all this. Liat, she's 26, the very young. As an educated person, I know about all the problems involved in pregnancy. Things can go wrong at any point because few men are perfectly healthy. Many of us smoke, some are overweight, and we live under stress, etc. And then there are all these genetic problems. This is my first baby, and I want to do all I can to ensure its good health. This is another point. In addition, as we know, all the democratic nations, and also not democratic, have social welfare for the sick babies. But in Israel, the funds for this organization to special education are shrinking. Therefore, more couples and more parents want to ensure that their child and won't get into this organization because their funds are shrinking and they won't have to pay much money for the education and raising this child. Noah, she's a 23 woman and officer in the army. My neighbor had a disabled child woman. She still takes around in a carriage at the age 5. She cannot work or study. They live on her husband's small salary and some miserable allowance from Social Security. It is hard to see their suffering. I don't think I could cope with such a bleak life. When I imagine this child, I rush to do all pregnancy tests possible to ensure this doesn't happen to me. In addition, it will hurt the parent's career and more attention will be given to the sick child. As I said before, the sick child has to gain more attention, more medicines, also special education, therefore it needs more time, more attention. Rita, she's 26 old, hairstylist. Yes, I want a perfect baby. Healthy and happy as in the movies. Why not? I'm not going to have 10 kids, but only 1 or 3 at most. Each one will be precious. If science can help me to find trouble before birth, I'd rather not to take the risk and have this pregnancy interrupted. We can try again later. Abortion is painful, but a sick child is much worse. Now I'm going to talk about the against side. Why not to have this test? Moral issue. Testing before the fetus, before it's been born. Is a fetus a child? Can we decide whether it's good or not? I mean, what is the perfect child for us? Ruti, she's a 29, nursery school teacher. All these optional tests recommended by private doctors are luxury for women with lots of spare time and money. They shop around for perfect babies as they shop for perfect homes, dresses, and cars. And you know what? It may all be illusion in the end because there is no such thing. God knows what might grow out of it. Criminals and maniacs also come from good homes, as we know. So in a sense, all these frontal activities about chasing illusion and wasting money. I'd rather buy some new toys for my living children or send them to a music class instead of digging into the genes of the unborn ones. Yeah, she also explains criminals. Criminals are not, we cannot see in the pregnancy if there will be criminals or not. So are they good children or not? Uncertainty and anxiety for parents and especially for the pregnant woman. When they get the result, you become very nervous to know about is it positive or negative, and which it also reflects to your pregnancy period because it's a very stressful period to know which are you have the genetic problem or not, and etc. Therefore, it's very stressed and nervous for the pregnant woman, and it's very difficult to the couples also when there are conflicts between them. Miri, given all this uncertainty, I regret that I went for this testing at all. It will be much easier just to proceed with the pregnancy, not seeking genetic information, and accept the outcome, whether it is. Sometimes it's better not to know in advance. There is another opinion why not to have this test. Much information not necessarily help to us. It's also adding for discrimination of disabilities people in the society. As we said before, in Israel we don't want to have like defective child, because some people will look at you like, oh my god, you have a defective child, what did you do, what is your genetic information, etc. Linda, 29, chemical researcher. I think this new fashion to check the genetic material before birth against every known defect is the factor reintroduction, selecting of the fetus, and the improvement of the race in the sense that Nazis used in the 30s and 40s. The official banking up of this practice is about sparing children and family suffering, but I don't see much of a difference. I guess the main tacit goal is to save public money and goes into medical and welfare service for disabled. In addition, can cause for family conflict. When you get a result and unfortunately it's positive, some other members of the family ask to do this test also, and by that the information is leaked to the family, which sometimes you don't want them to know about your genetic information, and therefore it can increase your conflict in the family. And also the leakage of information can cause for insurance companies to deny coverage. Insurance problems. You have a sick baby, why should I cover it if it's a sick baby? In conclusion, there are some questions which stays hanging in the air. Do pregnant women really benefit from exposure to genetic risk information, the ever-growing number of tests? I mean, each day they're coming with a new test. Is it good for us or not? Are the new technology and the medicine innovation good for the humanity or just harming? I mean, there is no good or bad. In addition, in the past, they didn't have this test. How did they survive with a defective child? I mean, are we becoming more selfish? Maybe. We decide which family has a better quality life, this with disability child or a normal child. And that's it. Thank you very much.